The minister has given an instruction, and I thought we are all on the same team. We all want to implement immediately and deactivate. That's why I went ahead and gave instructions. That's your story. That's your explanation of your behavior. What you cannot do is, for that behavior, you cannot rely on SS9 and then use it to say the National Commissioner is being dishonest when he says he did not give me instructions to implement immediately, because that's what you're doing. And it's problematic for that reason, that he did not say that to you, not on SS9, maybe on the phone. If you want to say on the phone, that's what he told me, or in an email, that's what he told me, then we'll say to you, fine, let's see the email. But if you're relying on SS9, which is what you've been doing since you sat on the stand, and in your statement, if you're relying on SS9, no, SS9 does not give you that instruction. You drew it from somewhere else, not from SS9.
May I comment, Chair?
Yes, you may.
This words that says the National Commissioner is not being honest when he says that, if many will remember, after the 6th of July press briefing by General Mkhwanazi, at some point the National Commissioner was asked by the media, were you aware that he's going to make such press conference? He said, yes, he told me. And did you give such order that this team be disbanded? He said, I never gave anyone any instruction. And then based on that, from my side, knowing that I have an email that directed me, that is how I approach it, to say, but the National Commission is not being honest here, because
the email, if you have another email, point us to it. Let's stop doing this, this secular discussion. If you have another email, by all means, introduce it. SS9, and now I'm putting it to you. SS9 does not instruct you to implement the deactivation. It doesn't.
Suspended Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, has stood firm in defending his decision to disband the Political Killings Task Team, telling the Madlang Commission of Inquiry that he acted within his authority as head of detectives. Testifying before the commission, chaired by retired Constitutional Court Justice Boyiseni Madlanga, Sibiya maintained that the move to shut down the specialized unit fell squarely within his operational mandate, despite mounting evidence that his actions diverged from the plan outlined by the suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. The commission, probing allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption within the criminal justice system, had that Mchunu, currently on special leave, had informed National Police Commissioner Vane Masemola on New Year's Eve 2024 his decision to deactivate the PKTT. However, contrary to Sibiya's repeated claims, Mchunu did not instruct that all 25 case dockets handled by the unit be transferred to the South African Police Service head office in Tshwane. Instead, the minister's directive specified that 60 politically related cases, 46 linked to traditional leadership disputes, 16 parallel investigations, 2 matters connected to the University of Fort Hare, and 1 ad hoc case be transferred to serious and violent crimes, murder and robbery, component within the division, detection and forensic services. The remaining 114 court-ready dockets were to stay under the supervision of the PKTT members to ensure continuity as cases progressed toward trial. New matters falling within the unit's mandate were to be referred to the KZN Serious and Violent Crime Unit. Yet after Masemola forwarded the directive, Sibiya instructed that court-bound dockets be moved to head office, a decision he argued was aimed at strengthening and capacitating the murder and robbery unit. When pressed by evidence leader Adila Hasim SC on whether he had deviated from minister's approved framework, Shadrack Sibiya was unyielding and said, I was acting in terms of my mandate as head of the detectives, Commissioner Sesibaloyi SC further challenged Sibiya on correspondence placed before the inquiry, noting that it contained no explicit instruction to implement the disbandment and said there are no words that say implement the deactivation of the PKTT. Sibiya conceded that no such wording appeared in the documents, but maintained that he was empowered to act regardless. Evidence before the commission revealed that Sibiya had proposed a plan to Masemula outlining how the PKTT will be dismantled. Masemula, however, was reportedly uneasy with the proposal, particularly its immediacy. Sibiya told the commission he modeled his approach on the dissolution of the Scorpions, formerly Directorate of Special Operations, which was established in 1999 and disbanded in 2009 following a resolution of the ANC at its 2007 National Conference. According to Sibiya, members of the Scorpions were individually summoned, formally handed over their dockets, and were redeployed, a structured but decisive process he believed should be replicated. Masemula, however, reportedly cautioned against an abrupt shutdown. He advised consultation with the SAPS head of strategic management, Major General Leon Rebi, to develop a phased wind-down plan. The National Commissioner was said to be concerned that a summary closure could destabilize ongoing investigations. An amended proposal submitted by Sibiya still called for immediate closure and transfer of dockets, a move Masemula allegedly refused to endorse, fearing detrimental consequences for sensitive cases. Sibiya rejected that characterization and said the same plan that the National Commissioner says he rejected, it is still his own plan because it comes from his office. He further denied that Masemula ever warned him that he could not summarily close the unit. Instead, Sibiya claimed Masemula had told him, "I understand, I think you can sign it, it's operational." At the heart of the Commissioner's inquiry is a fundamental question: who had the lawful authority to determine the fate of a specialized investigative unit, the political executive or the operational head of detectives? While Mchunu's directive envisaged a managed transition designed to preserve case integrity, Sibiya's actions suggest a more forceful interpretation of operational independence.
You know, Chair, there's no wrongdoing whatsoever that happened in the process. But the way I am being pushed into a certain corner that says, is there an instruction that says the docket must go to head office or not? I've never given such an instruction.